Encouragement of fine arts in Islam. Human nature is drawn toward beauty. We are naturally attracted to aesthetics, harmony, and creative expression. Poetry, music, painting, and architecture have always been an integral part of human civilization. The question arises, what is the Islamic perspective on fine arts? Are they merely a source of entertainment, or do they hold a deeper spiritual and moral significance? A study of Islamic history reveals that Islam did not suppress art, rather, it refined it, purified it, and gave it a sacred purpose. Arts were not seen as mere diversions of the heart but as means of elevating the soul, refining the character, and drawing closer to the Creator. That is why poetry, music, calligraphy, and architecture achieved a unique position in Islamic civilization. Poetry and Islam. Before Islam, Arabs were known as a nation of poets. Poetry was their pride, their medium of expression, and their tool for praise or criticism. Islam did not abolish this cultural heritage. Instead, it gave poetry a new direction filled with truth, purity, and meaning. The Quran itself mentions poets. Those who spread lies, immorality, or misguidance through poetry were condemned. But poets who remembered God bore witness to truth, and inspired righteousness were praised. In the time of Prophet Muhammad, Hassan ibn Thabit, R.A., became known as the poet of the Prophet. He defended Islam through his verses and uplifted the morale of Muslims. This shows that poetry, when used for truth and justice, becomes a powerful form of jihad. Later, the Sufi tradition transformed poetry into a vehicle of spirituality. Rumi, Hafiz Shirazi, Jami, Bulleh Shah, and Allama Iqbal are shining examples. Their poetry spoke of divine love, the remembrance of the Prophet, morality, and human values. It was not empty entertainment but a source of awakening, reflection, and spiritual ecstasy. To this day, Sufi poetry softens hearts and connects people to higher truths. Music and Islam. Music is the language of emotions. Through melody and rhythm, feelings are expressed that words alone cannot capture. In Islamic history, the status of music has been debated. Some scholars discouraged it, while others, particularly in the Sufi tradition, saw it as a way of remembering God and purifying the soul. Qawwali is a striking example. Introduced and refined by Amir Khusro, Qawwali became a means of spiritual devotion. When Allahu or praise of the Prophet is sung in harmony, it uplifts the listeners, bringing their hearts closer to the divine. In Sufi gatherings, music was not about worldly pleasure, it was about cleansing the heart and elevating the spirit. From Andalusia to South Asia, Islamic musical expression developed its own unique identity where melody and devotion merged into one. Architecture and Islam. Islamic architecture is perhaps the most visible and lasting form of fine arts in Islam. Its beauty lies not only in its grandeur but in the spirituality it reflects. Mosques were not built merely as places of prayer, they became masterpieces of design and sacred art. Andalusian example. In Spain, Muslims built some of the greatest architectural wonders of the world. The Great Mosque of Cordoba is admired for its arches, pillars, and unique use of light and space. The Alhambra Palace in Granada remains a breathtaking example of beauty combined with spiritual symbolism. Its walls are adorned with Quranic verses in exquisite calligraphy, and its geometric patterns represent harmony and unity. South Asian example. In South Asia, the Mughal dynasty elevated Islamic architecture to new heights. The Taj Mahal is not just a mausoleum, it is a symbol of love, beauty, and transcendence. The Badshahi Mosque in Lahore and the Jama Masjid of Delhi are also striking symbols of Islamic art. The distinguishing feature of Islamic architecture is its combination of simplicity and majesty. Domes, minarets, arches, and intricate latticework were not designed only to impress the eye but to inspire a sense of God's greatness in the heart of the worshipper. Calligraphy and ornamentation. Since Islam discouraged the making of images of living beings, Muslims channeled their creativity into calligraphy, geometry, and abstract design. The writing of Quranic verses in beautiful styles became a sacred art form in itself. Arabic calligraphy has no equal in the world. Kufic, Naskh, Thuluth, and Nastaliq scripts developed into distinct artistic traditions. Calligraphy adorned mosques, palaces, and manuscripts, elevating not only the word of God but also the human spirit. In South Asia, Nastaliq script gave Urdu and Persian literature an added elegance, transforming written words into visual poetry. To this day, calligraphy remains one of the most cherished Islamic art forms. Ethical dimensions of fine arts in Islam. The encouragement of fine arts in Islam comes with an ethical condition. Art must not promote immorality, vulgarity, or misguidance. Instead, it should serve as a means of spiritual growth, moral refinement, and social benefit. Poetry that inspires divine love and human dignity is praised. Music that draws the heart toward remembrance of God is uplifting. Architecture that glorifies God's house is a form of charity. Calligraphy that beautifies the Quran is an act of devotion. When art becomes a mirror of higher truth, it ceases to be mere entertainment and becomes a form of worship. Lessons for the modern world. In today's world, fine arts are often reduced to commercial entertainment. Songs frequently promote immorality, films glorify materialism, and art is often divorced from ethics. This is far from the Islamic vision. Islam teaches us that art should elevate, not degrade. If you make a film, let it serve humanity. If you compose poetry, let it awaken hearts. If you create music, let it uplift souls. If you build structures, let them remind people of God's majesty. The purpose of fine arts in Islam is not escapism but engagement, connecting beauty with truth, aesthetics with spirituality, and creativity with moral responsibility. Conclusion. Islam never rejected fine arts, it purified them, elevated them, and gave them direction. That is why Islamic civilization produced some of the greatest artistic achievements the world has ever seen. Sufi poetry still warms the heart, Andalusian mosques still leave people in awe, and Quranic calligraphy still nourishes the soul. When art leads us to God, it is no longer just art, it becomes worship. Islam's message is simple yet profound. Let fine arts be a reflection of divine beauty.